Gretti.
That he will win the state of North Carolina and its 16 electoral votes. The Fox News decision desk can now also predict that
Hey, Finland.
will win New Mexico. That was
why do you want Trump to win and not Kamala? Why would I?
But Vice President Harris will win New Mexico.
Why would I want her to win?
The race to 270, the electoral votes needed. It now stands at 232 for former President Trump and 198 for Vice President.
Oh, God.
That makes North Carolina the state in the battlegrounds that Trump has won 3 times. It was the only battleground.
When we know who's where. I think we're going to know by tomorrow, for sure.
Trump campaign.
So
he has kept that one in his
I think we'll know by tomorrow.
Tonight.
We'll see.
To move on.
Peter Ducey is live at the White House. What he's hearing from the Harris campaign and the Harris path tonight. Peter.
Because I'm a puppy?
At the White House, and that is.
Are you calling me cute?
Told us to President Biden and
I'm a puppy.
we're inside watching the results coming on TV.
All puppies are cute.
Here outside, and we've been noticing that a lot of lights that
We have 198 and 230. They called North Carolina for Trump.
have been turning off.
Google didn't call North Carolina.
Some folks around here may be taking the campaign co-chair.
Only arguments y'all got is aboard Crimea River and go across state lines to get one.
In the morning. There have been 3 big changes, though, in the way
He wants to leave
Harris
NATO,
has
which will
been,
leave Europe in danger, so
presenting
World War
their
III can
case
start.
to us in the last couple hours.
Yeah, but you don't like America anyway.
Telling us
Like,
where they saw silver.
you can't have us work for you and then be like, fuck you. No, they don't work that way. I see you see it's 205 to 230. So what did they give her? They gave her Virginia.
And something over the last
So they gave her, I think it was Virginia, right?
could come out
No, New Mexico.
very early. We're not
I think it was New Mexico they just gave her.
More the memo that the campaign co-chair put out.
I got 211 to 232.
Just something that they've been telling us since the summer.
The world, well, I'd rather have them laugh at us than cry.
Other pathways to victory.
It's better to laugh than cry.
New information. That is just what they've got right now. Vice President Harris remains at the Naval Observatory right now. We don't know if she's going to show up at her campaign headquarters, but they took the press pool and they told them just to stand by. And if Joe Biden is giving anybody watching,
It all comes down to stand by believe. People asking why you choose who we are. I know.
that he has
People don't like when you stand for what you believe in.
4 of the 6 are to people who just won in Delaware, where he is heading next.
I'm sure she wants to make a lot of change.
Thank you. Another call to make.
That's right. We can now let you know that the Fox Decision Desk can project that Vice President Harris will indeed.
Okay, so she got Virginia.
This was much closer. It was a state that the Trump team said they felt they might be able to expand the map, but he did better than he did in the prior elections. But this has just been called for Vice President Harris.
Way.
With non-married men than he did 4 years ago in Virginia, which seems to be a theme that we're seeing in a lot of these states. That all according to the Fox News voter analysis.
I want to bring back our panel, but I want to read from an email that came from.
No, it won't ever end. People voted Trump for a reason, and he's winning for a reason.
Close to Harris are expressing concern that
It's never any argument that will never end. Yeah, I know. People just don't like when you have different opinions, and I think that's strange.
So. Path is so narrow, and she's not doing what she needs to do in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The exit polls I saw hours ago are all suddenly.
Obviously, Hannah, you haven't been watching my live, have you? Stay a while. Pull a chair up. Get your election snacks. We've been talking for quite some time.
His numbers are higher than expected in counties where he should be losing by larger margins in Pennsylvania and Michigan. A third source.
Being a grape?
I think we're losing this.
Is it a fact or an opinion? I don't know.
The Vice President Harris may come to Howard University soon, but not for another hour.
Why, thank you. I am.
With those numbers, Brett.
I think I'm pretty fair.
In Pennsylvania, between Bob Casey and Dave McCormick, it looks like McCormick, with 81% of the vote in, is leading by a point and a half, and we'll monitor that. I think that race, if McCormick wins that race, I think it's very likely to say that President Trump will win the Commonwealth as well.
To Jesus, well, why not? Kamala said he was the mustache man. What's the difference, right? You can compare yourself to anything, and people compare you to anything.
Didn't do enough on the border. He rejected.
Who's winning? 232 Trump, 211 Harris.
He didn't lay out specifics. He said no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime.
I don't really care if he's a Christian or not.
True, but sometimes politics in life isn't fair. And he's a different kind of candidate. I think if we look back, and this race is not over, we've got three, the blue wall here to hold, but if we look back at this, I think one of the things that...
I know. I wish they would call Georgia.
Probably more effective was just...
Like I said, am I Christian? No. Whoever is president, I want them to do great. So if it's Kamala, if it's Trump, I want them to be successful. Why wouldn't I want them to be successful? That is the weirdest thing.
And the fact that we have more wealth today than we did 3 years ago, more innovation, more cures and therapeutics, more oil than we did 3 years ago, and they couldn't figure out how to run on that, couldn't figure out how to capitalize on that. So we talk.
Do you know Jesus was Jewish?
We're going to have to do, and if you guys are successful tonight, I hope that President Trump is willing to reach out to us as well and try to figure out ways in which to grow the country for every American.
I don't think he's done that. I mean, look at the coalition he has built. I think there's been an underestimation of what the definition of protecting democracy is.
So,
RFK Jr. told
91
who was in charge of the DNC at a certain point, saying there's all this lawfare. You're
so all over the place.
One of his vice presidential candidate at the time feels the same way. And people look at that and say, it's building a coalition.
The only thing I'm saying is Brett Baer wrote a great piece for Fox.com about unity and about what happens when these races. This is
Beyonce, dance party with Beyonce. I love that.
I think he'll have to do
right? They're like, we love Diddy. We're not like it's insane to me.
With him if he wants to do that, but it's going to take
crazy.
Make a call here. Stand by.
Hold on. Republicans gain Senate control.
Republicans will take control of the United States Senate. The party will hold at least 51 seats, which is enough for an outright majority.
So Republicans gain Senate control. Am I okay? You know, some days I feel that as a person who grew up in a middle class family.
Waiting for the Tim Sheehy race against John Tester in Montana, which is one that I think a lot of Republicans
I don't know, I have to look.
were relying on, so we'll see if that comes out to be the case. And
what time is it? Beyonce.
Republican leader Mitch McConnell,
It's 11:52.
serving Senate leader in history, announced that he would step down.
Israel, Palestine, Israel.
Speculation about who might take that role, and of course that'll be
it's almost 12.
next conversation to have for the leader.
Middle class, you're trash. Beyonce.
For the Senate, 42 seats for Democrats, and this is
Hello,
this is a big
Ireland.
deal for if President Trump wins again. He needs this majority in the Senate. We don't know what's going to happen in the House, if indeed.
Yeah, and we have seen
Why Israel Jewish?
Democrats are having some success in the House. The question comes in the West and California, but this is a big deal, Britt Hume.
Trump.
This is a flip of the Senate majority, and now Chuck Schumer will no longer be the majority leader.
Honey, you don't need to stress from Europe. You'll be okay. You'll be all right.
This looks good for us. They didn't know how good, and we still don't know how good it's going to be tonight.
Yeah, and it raises the possibility if Trump wins.
Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce.
Republicans can maintain control of the House. There's been a lot of confidence in the betting markets that they would throughout this evening, but just to keep you up to date, the margin on the betting.
Yes, why do you think that's funny? His daughter's Jewish. Did you know that, Courtney? His daughter and his son-in-law are Jewish. Why would I vote for Kamala, who's not supporting Israel?
Another way to say, he recruited great candidates.
Did the
James Gaines, who was a senator from Montana who ran the whole operation. The Senate Leadership Fund spent millions of dollars very strategically, and they had to help with $3 million at the last minute to help the senator of Nebraska get across the finish line. She barely did, but she made it.
Let's also not
amid harsh criticism of McConnell from a not insignificant wing of the Republican Party on the right.
Yep.
Let's also not discount.
We need some information.
Kaylee, that definitely in the case of Bernie Moreno.
It's someone's religion. At the end of the day, everyone has been. You're right.
Over the finish line. We don't know. In Michigan, Mike Rogers. In Pennsylvania, David McCormick. And in Montana.
The Diddy oil. You know, there's somebody that's going to come out with that oil.
Big conversation, especially
A Diddy.
in cycles about